Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a level 20 Blood Sorcadin build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a modded class that's going to be combining both the Blood Sorcerer mod that is made by Sturm1212 alongside the Paladin, and we're just going to use a regular old Paladin, Vengeance to be particular, as the Sorcadin is extremely strong because you can do your 2-weapon attacks, so that's 2 divine smites, and then you can do a quicken spell to cast a third spell. So, or I guess first spell, third attack. This is crazy, and I'll be breaking all of this down in this video. Now, for the Sorcerer, we're going to obviously go with the Blood Sorcerer, which adds in some unique cantrips like the ability to bleed yourself, which gives you some benefits that make you very, very strong. We also get the Blood Needle spell, the Blood Bath, which calls for a rain of blood, bleeding all creatures, and then the Blood Rebuke, which deals additional damage if the caster is bleeding. With the subclass features, we get the Sacrificial spell, ignoring resistance and immunity to necrotic damage. Grim Harvest, which whenever you kill a target, we get three times the necromancy spell slot back as health points, or 2 times if it's any other spell. And Hemomancy, advantage on attack rolls while bleeding. What's funny about this is it'll actually work with our smites, so really great. Now, for our cantrips that we're going to be selecting, I think the best ones, if you got Mistress spells, this is huge because this adds a whole lot more. You just go with the regular Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp, Bone Chill, and like Booming Blade otherwise. But if you got Mistress spells enabled, you can get like Frostbite and Lightning Lure to really spice things up, and also Booming Blade there. Now for our spells, we always want to have Shield, increase armor class by 5, great for survivability. Magic Missile is also a very effective spell because this is a guaranteed hit, so sometimes there's only targets with like 3 health left and you need to just do one quick little missile. This will do it for you, so that's a nice thing because we got a lot of spells from the Blood Sorcerer. Now for our ability scores, we can build around strength or dexterity. So going something like 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, wisdom, and 16 charisma for the first part, because we're going to wear robes at the start. As a sorcerer, that's kind of your only option if you want to be strong. So this will work. Although you can swap the dexterity with your strength if you want to go all in on your strength, or if you want to be crazy, you can just give yourself a strength potion. So we're going to go with that for the leveling. Now I'll go through the full leveling guide and then show us the gear options that we'll be going with. I'm just wearing a modded outfit right now just for thematic purposes, but I'll also show you base game items, talk about some mods, and then I'll show you some combat. So going ahead here into level 2, we get to choose our next spells, and we get Meta Magics, which is a really big buff. Now for our next spell, Absorb Elements can be nice to stop taking damage from an elemental attack. Personally, I love Thunderwave because this pushback can actually be very beneficial, knocking people off of ledges. And then for our Meta Magics, Twin Spell, because Twin Haste is broken, and Distance Spell is sometimes we just can't hit a target, and Distance Spell will make sure that we're able to hit somebody. At level 3, this is a nice power spike because we get ourselves the Blood Ray, which does 68 necrotic with each beam, and damages the caster 1 for 4 necrotic damage, or no damage for bleeding. So obviously you want that. And then we also get the Blood Spike, transform the blood into the target to deal 4 to 40 necrotic damage, and it can only be used on targets that are standing on a surface. Then we get level 2 spells here with Hold Person being huge because we can quicken this and then go ahead and Divine Smite. Big bonk. And for our Meta Magic, we're going to take Quicken Spell. So spells that cast an action will cast a bonus action instead. Pretty powerful. At level 4, we get ourselves a feat, and we get a choice in cantrip, so we can take Green Flame Blade here. And for spells, we already get Misty Step, so Scorching Ray is going to be a good choice there for some damaging options if you're not bleeding. Darkness can also be effective too, just for the hiding out, but we're going to take up our charisma to 18 here for better spell casting. Just makes sense here. Level 5, we get another powerful spell with the Crimson Blast doing 10d6 in necrotic damage, and this again ignores resistances, and it causes the caster to take 1d8 necrotic damage for each target hit, or half of the caster's bleeding. So this will mean that we're taking damage, so Fireball can also be nice. Sanguine Feast, drain the vitality of all nearby creatures. The caster heals for half the total damage dealt. So this can be a good way to sustain yourself and then blast away the Crimson Blast. High risk, high reward. For our spell, Haste is huge. You definitely want to have Haste because you can twin this to yourself and then apply it to your Barbarian or your Fighter and even your Spellcaster, and is really strong. But Fireball is also nice, but we're going to go with Haste here just because that's really, really effective. At level 6, we get ourselves the subclass features Blood Vitality. If we're standing on a blood surface, we heal for 2d4 of blood or health points. And when we cast a spell that does necrotic damage, you add your charisma modifier to the damage, making us pretty strong. And it ignores resistances. So there's one of the spells that I made with a mod. Tidal Wave is actually another very powerful spell if you have Mistress spells unlocked. This does create a water surface. Doesn't work fully with this, but it could be another nice option if you just want to go blast, do like this and then Chain Lightning. That's probably one of the strongest combinations for damage, or this and then using Cone of Cold But Fireball is another great choice, and you go with the Lightning Beam too, which is unfortunately removed right now from me modding around. At level 7, we get ourselves the ever-powerful Blood Storm, doing slashing plus necrotic damage. And this strikes all targets within the range and takes 1 to 12 necrotic for each target, or 1 to 4 for each target if you're bleeding. So again, you want to be bleeding yourself if you apply this. And we get ourselves some fun spells like Lightning, Ice Storm can be really effective. Lightning Bolt. Blight is also another spell that's necrotic based, so you could go with that, but I think it's probably best to go with Lightning Bolt or Ice Storm. This is just give us crowd control by the way of creating ice surfaces. Ice surfaces are really great because they can make the enemy skip their turn. Then at next level here, we'll take ourselves Lightning Bolt. Confusion can also be a really effective spell to grab as well if you'd like. But we also get ourselves a feat, and we'll max out our charisma at this level. Pretty strong. Makes sense. At level 9, we get ourselves my favorite spell, the Grasp of the Dead, doing 8d8 necrotic damage, and this will bind targets into place. It'll remove the blood surfaces whenever you cast it, but this is really cool. My favorite spell out of here, and it keeps them stuck in position. Now we get some fun spells. We get ourselves Insect Plague and Cone of Cold. Cloud Kill can work too if you got like the Dread Overlord Warlock on your team, because this can prevent you from hurting their zombies, which is really nice. Hold Monster is also very valuable of a spell to take. For our next cantrip, we can add in like Larlock's Minor Drain, which is necrotic damage, and it'll heal us. Spells. Again, Insect Plague, extremely useful. Creates difficult terrain and does piercing damage. Hold Monster, another very powerful spell, so we're going to go with that there. And for our meta magic, if you got the mod that adds Empowered Spell, this is great because it can reroll your damage die. Heightened Spell can be good for keeping your team safe. And Careful Spell can allow allies will automatically succeed saving throws, so that can be really nice too. Once we make our way to level 11, this is where we get some big powers. So we get Blood Power here, which will give us an additional 1 to 6 necrotic damage when you're bleeding. Huge. And then advantage on attack rolls against bleeding targets. So that's perfect because we want to bleed them and then go in and Divine Smite them. We also get the Crimson Leech, which does drain the blood of a target, does 52 to 112 necrotic damage. If it reduces them to 0, it deletes them. Deals 40 damage to the caster or no damage if you're bleeding, so never cast this if you're not bleeding. You'll regret it. And then at next level, we got ourselves Chain Lightning. Circle of Death is another really effective spell. So what we can do is we can take that and then you can go and you remove one of the previous spells if you find that you're not using them, like Scorching Ray, because we have a necrotic version of it. It's going to be a little bit stronger. You can then go ahead and take yourself Circle of Death. So that is a very powerful spell, and you're going to see why. So we can continue at level 12 to get another feat, but this is also a nice time to add in the Paladin. We're going with the Oath of Vengeance, giving us the Inquisitor's Might, which will give radiant damage. You can daze them. When they're dazed, they're more likely to get hit with your hold person and your commands. So that is also really effective. Level 2, we get Divine Smites. We get a fighting style, so we're going to take defense for better armor class. And then we get to choose from a great list of spells. And we are going to take all the smites. We're going to take Bless. We got Command, which is really great. Doesn't require concentration. Cure Wounds can be okay. We got everything that we want out of the Paladin already. So we'll just continue along with this. Level 3, you can't get diseased. And then we have the Vow of Immunity. You can actually apply this to yourself. And then you have attack rolls, advantage on every attack roll. But you'll also have advantage on attack rolls if the target's bleeding. So a couple options. You also get Hunter's Mark. But our biggest power spikes will be at level 5. And we get another way to teleport around with our Misty Step. We also can take off Hold Person because we do get it from the Paladin as well. So if you want to swap that out on the Sorcerer, you can also do it that way. We also can take another ability score improvement here. You can take the Alert feat for the +5 to Initiative. You can also go with the, if you want to really focus on attack, Savage Attack Roll, you re-roll your damage die, especially your smites. But +5 Initiative from Alert is just hard to give up. So we're going to roll with that. At level 5, we now get our extra attack for 2 Divine Smites, and then we can just blast them with a spell. And we have Misty Step. We already have Hold Person, but we can always swap that off. And then we get ourselves the Blinding Smite. And we can also take Aid for the increase to health, which is nice because we can upcast that. And if you have the Staff of Spell Power, you can actually use that freely. At level 6, we get our big power spike from the Paladin. Again, with Aura Protection, giving a +5 bonus to saving throws based on our Charisma modifier. Huge. And then we'll just go with, I guess, whatever spell slot you want from there. Level 7, this gives us the Relentless Avenger. If you hit an enemy with an opportunity attack, your movement and speed increases by 4.5 meters in your next turn. However, we can also add in something else here. Going ahead with the Fighter gives us the second win for a bit of healing. And then we can also take another fighting style, so we can get great weapon fighting if we want to focus on two-handed weapons. And this will allow us to reroll our damage die, which, as you know, is a good thing. And then at level 2, we get Action Surge. You guys know what I was doing there. This just makes us very, very strong. And then if you got we have the Blood Archer here, which kind of fits actually thematically with the with this whole getup. but you can just stay level 12 sorcerer. That's another good option. You can also level up the go with the paladin, but I think that go with the sorcerer. This gives us another spell, so we can select something else. Counter spell is another really nice one. You can also replace a spell and then take off your hold person, as we already got that, and then you can take global invulnerability or insect plague. I'm gonna roll with insect plague. It's really strong. And then for our feat, we can go with like dexterity improvement. You can go again with the savage attacker, but less bang for your buck because we already got an option similar to that. The tough feat is also nice to increase your health by 2 for every level. Since we need a lot of health, this will give us 40 extra health, which is actually really nice. So you can go that route too. Armor class or health, your choice, and I guess more initiative. Now, what this ends up looking like for gear. So, using the Mask of Soul Perception, we will increase our spell attack rolls, although the Hood of the Weave will also give us better spell casting, so those two, you can choose what you want from them. The Helmet of Arcane Acuity in Act 1 is also a nice helmet, because that will give you the option of getting your Arcane Acuity stacks up using the arrow of many targets. So that can be good. You can also go with like this and the Holy Land's Helmet and focus on radiating orbs early game. If you want to add in maybe Paladin a little earlier. Cloak Protection, the Evasive Shoes, although you can go with the Reverberation. Armor of Persistence is also really nice. This will reduce all incoming damage, give you resistance and blade ward. So you can go that route. You would have to start with the Paladin in order to be able to use that. But if you go with the Armor of Agility, this can give us a 24 armor class. The Helldesk Armor will give us 25 armor class. And you can also go with like the Robe of the Weave for better spell casting if you want to go that route. Medium armor is going to be a good choice if you don't take that first level in Paladin, but Helldesk Armor is going to be a great late game option. The Luminous Armor can be good early game too if you want to focus on being the Paladin first, because Radiating Orbs is really nice for protecting your team until you get the ability to give a +5 to your bonus saving throws. Helldesk Gloves for the extra fire damage and spell attack roll. And then we also got ourselves in the greater health for 258 health, a Killer Sweetheart for a free crit and a Ring of Protection, a Hellrider Longbow for the +3 initiative and can apply a Fairy Fire, and the Baldur and Giant Slayer, which is just the strongest weapon in the game, especially if you use a Strength Potion, it'll double the damage from your Strength modifier. This also allows us to go into our Giant form, which is really nice. Now, what this looks like, we want to pre-buff a few things, so we got a lot of spells, you can see. We're going to always make sure that we get the Aura Protection up, so this will give us that nice boost to our spell save. It's really good. And then once we get into combat, we got a few different options that we want to be stacking up on ourselves before we get into that. So you got things like Heroism, which can give you a bit extra health. You also get the Vow of Enmity here, which will give you ability to give yourself advantage on attack rolls. So that can be really nice too. And then you can also bleed yourself, apply haste. Those are your options there. So I'll show this off in combat. Now again, if you know you're getting into a fight, apply the Vow of Enmity here. Give yourself that advantage early on. And then you can also go ahead with giving yourself the Giant form from the Baldur and Giant Slayer. It's just going to give you extra temporary health, taking us up close to the 300 health mark. And that's going to be your pre-game ritual here. So we can also drop down some spells like Ice Storm if you want to create difficult terrain early on. And then we also got ourselves our blood spells that we want to apply this to bleed ourselves for 4 turns. That can be nice. Be careful of healing because then you'll lose that. But yeah, I guess we'll show off what this now looks like in combat. I'll just leave the turn-based mode so that I can get into a fight. We also have really good spell selection, so you can see there we got ourselves upwards of level 8 spells, so very strong. And then to kick things off, we'll just go with I think this is a good choice to create difficult terrain, especially for those that are far away. And with this right here, this will create difficult terrain for us, and then we'll start making blood, because that'll further empower us. So yeah, we got ourselves a good start to the fight here. So what we want to be doing in terms of combat, we got a few great options. So we got Divine Smite. This is going to be the bread and butter of our abilities. So we can go ahead and Divine Smite them, get that extra damage, boom, critical hit. That's what we want to see. And we can go ahead with another Divine Smite and burn up our low level spell slots. So bonk, we rolled a 40 to hit. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. This also, because we have fire damage on that, removes the ice. So then what we can do, since we want to keep our difficult terrain up, we just go with a Cone of Cold here. So of course we got counterspelled. That happens. I was able to take them out with the Brain Blast there. But what also we got going on is we can do a quicken spell. So we can also just go ahead, reverse Uno. We did lose a spell slot, but we also got another Cone of Cold. So that we got the difficult terrain, that took out both targets, and then we can run back so that, oh, we got a friendly group of enemies behind us. So what this means is that we got ourselves difficult terrain there for anyone that's running towards us. And then we got action surge if we wanted to attack them. We're just going to end our turn off here and let them run to us. The Blood Sorcerer should be using its melee attacks often. Divine Smite's going to be your probably best choice for damage. But once you got your early level spell slots up, sometimes it's better just to focus on spell casting, because we are at the end of the day still a sorcerer, so we got lots of spells that we can cast. Now we got ourselves a bit of a fight here. This is fine because our armor class is 27 with this is included too from haste, so we're actually quite defensive. But you're going to see here some funny antics. They're going to try and run at us, or they're going to try and do some funny things here. And we also got ourselves Blood Rebuke, so we can use this to react to your next attacker with Bloody Attack that deals damage. And yeah, we can also upcast that. So we'll just go ahead, blast them there with our Blood Rebuke, 20 damage. They'd made the save, that's fine. And they got the heal off, so that's fine. We got ourselves a good position though, because these will get bonked by our Divine Smites. They're going to come at us with these attacks. Maybe we'll get shoved too. We'll see. They seem to like to do that. And Command Grovel, our worst enemy. Our saving throw bonus did not save us this time, but that's super unfortunate. And our ice also melted, so womp womp. That happens. And again, we got ourselves that Blood Rebuke, so we can use that just to be able to attack back. It's kind of funny seeing us large size throwing that Blood Rebuke back at the enemy. But at least gives you an option to weaponize your reaction, which is huge. So it's finally our turn again, and Divine Smite is ready to rumble, so we'll start off by just smiting those around us. I'll do a level 2 spell, so that might be more likely to, yeah, critical hit will take them out. I also have the Volatile Blood, so whenever I bleed, I make it light on fire, so that's even more chaos thrown into the mix. And then I guess we'll go with this target here, attack, that took them out, perfect. Then we can follow it up with another good old-fashioned Divine Smite as they keep taking damage from the Call of the Weak. That's perfect, so that's 3 down. And then we can run up, drop ourselves another Divine Smite here, and oh, almost attack the ground. 99% hit chance, boom, perfect. And then what's nice is we also got the option of doing our action surge here. So this is the reason that taking the 2 levels in fighter is so beneficial. Because then you can go around, yes, you burn through spell slots like it's nobody's business, but at least it's fun, right? And then finally we got ourselves our Topple the Big Folk too, which is the unique weapon attack, so we can also use that if we want to save our spell slots. But as you've seen there, the Blood Sorcerer is very strong. It took out everybody here without much hesitation, but you got yourself that quicken spell to be able to drop your spells out. Divine Smite's going to burn through your low-level spells really quickly, but then you also got really fun ones like Circle of Death if you got a lot of enemies grouped around, because this will ignore resistances, and it's very powerful. So let me know your thoughts on this Blood Sorcerer build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.